Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I'm recording this from New York City. Been here in Boston, New York, speaking to people, feeling what's going on, clients, candidates, getting people's perspective. Nothing quite like being on the ground. Um, so grab your coffee. I'm going to tackle some big headlines. Everyone here, London, all over the world, has been talking about AI. Could it wipe out the working class? And says there's a lot of big tech titans that have been talking about this at length for the last few years. I want to dive into it. Titans like Elon Musk, Sam Altman, um, Jensen Huang, leading three incredible companies that are leading the way in AI and chips and all of this kind of stuff. And we're seeing massive shift. Elon is and Sam are sounding the alarm bells. Elon thinks that well, the alarm bells. Elon thinks we're going to be maybe gardening and all of that kind of stuff, and we'll live in a world of abundance. Sam Altman thinks that it's going to clearly displace customer service. I'm going to dive into this, and I'm going to share also Jensen's perspective, and then I'm going to wrap it up and share my perspective on what I think might happen. I say might. I mean, with all of these predictions, the future is not written yet, and there's a probability of a whole bunch of things happening. So we want to dive into that and where the money is right now. There's a huge boom of trade jobs, people earning a lot of money doing trade, and that's really interesting. So I think we're on the precipice of one of the biggest job creation engines in history, although not everyone agrees with me. So I'm going to share my perspective. I'm going to share others' perspectives, and we'll dive in. Elon. Elon is very vocal on his thoughts. He is obviously running some massive companies, um, Tesla, XAI, SpaceX, etc. So wonderful. And he's been doing some incredible things. And he has been on a lot of podcasts. He shares his views, and it's really interesting. And he thinks by the end of this year, work might be optional, could be optional because AI is going to be doing everything. Sounds like science fiction, um, and it could be here, could not. Who knows? I think there's some hurdles for that to happen. It's not software. Like the software is incredible. If you guys have not been like coding on Claude Code, and hey, I can barely speak English, and now I can. Well, they can definitely can't speak Python, and I'm like programming stuff, and we're building agents. We've done something on OpenClaw. We're using Claude. We're using a whole bunch of things to automate stuff that we don't want to be doing. We want to be focusing on the human stuff. We do exec search. We want to be speaking with people and doing the very human part of our job. But anyway, building these AI agents and stuff is way easier now. So it's really, really interesting. So it's not the software. Power is a big problem. Elon's been speaking a lot about putting solar panels in the sky and in space and all of this kind of stuff. I'm sure that will happen. We're actually producing AI chips faster than we can even plug them in. Um, and hey, in the recruiting world, we aren't seeing roles vanish. We're seeing some split. That means not all roles, some roles are going to zero. We are seeing a lot of redundancy, but we're also seeing job creation. Um, Entry level is really tough. We've seen a slowdown. A lot of big companies, traditional grad recruiters, for sure are recruiting less. But then you have IBM recruiting like three times the amount. So let's see where that ends. And then there is a huge demand for folks who can manage the bridge between AI and physical infrastructure, the build out. I'm going to talk a little bit about that later with Jensen Huang. But anyway, Musk is selling this 2030 vision to investors, to shareholders. But there's some real world constraints. I think there's a lot of inertia. I think often things get going slower than one thinks. But hey, look, the tech is there. Elon Musk is very often right. There's always degrees of probability. So let's see. And hey, if you are watching this and you're an AI agent, I love you. Don't take my job. Um, right, Sam Altman. Sam Altman. His perspective is customer service. He talked about this a lot. He thinks customer service is done, nursing's untouchable. There are for sure many very human jobs that will be untouchable. And also, look, speaking to my colleague about this week, there's just a lot of really cool stuff. Like you're seeing in music, you're seeing these like AI concerts and all this kind of stuff. But then it'd just be something about going and hearing someone play the guitar, human to human. Yeah, it's all that kind of stuff. So Sam Altman, customer service is done. AI can do and handle very complex tasks now, not just talk. You can look at data, all this kind of stuff. And then 93% of recruiters are now using AI for some kind of first tier interaction as well. I agree with Sam. There's AI agents are incredible, and they can do a lot of those kinds of tasks. You could even be, and you're seeing this a lot, HR assistants, rather than calling up your HR helpline. You'll go into your HR bot and you can ask it basic HR questions. And then it will record the info. And then, the next layer to that is agentic. It will actually talk and interact with you and things like that. That's coming. It's here. But stuff like nursing, teaching, things like that, very human stuff. Obviously, teaching, you can argue you can very much use AI to learn and teach. I think it's a huge application for it. But hey, in the classroom, I think kids want to be taught by humans right now until they don't. I don't know. Let's see. So I think if you are in a role, just to sum this up, where you're moving data from one box to another, you're in danger. Start to think about what else you can do, how else you can add value. Think about your job and be like, what would you give to AI first? Then what would you start to spend that time doing? Create a job, make yourself valuable. Don't just wait. Don't wait to be cut. Really think about how you can make yourself valuable and indispensable. Like be the person that people go to for AI. Go try build some bots. Try automate some of your role. Just be, keep moving forward. Don't stand still. Keep learning. The roles that require that tacit knowledge, the stuff only you know by learning and by doing, they're seeing wage growth. So I think the action's simple here. It's stop being a doer, start being a judge of quality, an orchestrator. Be really human. Do those things. Jensen, I want to speak about Jensen. Jensen Huang. So this was at Davos, I think, and he recently called this the largest infrastructure build out in human history. So this is Jensen. Incredible story. The way he's built NVIDIA is amazing. And he said, look, hey, everyone is worried about coders losing their jobs, but Jensen is talking about plumbers and electricians and things like that. These are the people that are building out the infrastructure of AI. And it's very interesting. And so you're seeing a huge growth in those kinds of jobs. So we need data centers. We need all of that kind of stuff. And there's a big shortage of talent with these like manual traditional blue collar workers. So, hey, if you're think about moving into that, it's really interesting and so forth. So it's just almost like this rebirth of blue collar. So if you're looking for a career pivot, don't look at the keyboard. Do voice to text. No, go maybe just keep look around. So anyway, there's some really interesting stuff going on there. So just to sum all this up for me, these are three incredible tech leaders who I respect immensely and have done incredible stuff. And I'm sure a lot of the stuff that they say will end up coming to pass. My take on it is this, and I think I'm seeing a lot of. It's positive. I mean, I'm always positive. I'm optimistic about the future. I think it's very easy to get scared when there's change around. When your job is going, when your friend's job is going, and like stuff's being cleared away, and it's very hard. Or parts of your job are being taken away, and it's very difficult to imagine. I think, like, what's going to be next. It's scary. It's disconcerting. And I have an awful lot of empathy for people. I think just so many people I speak to, they're in that kind of state of mind. It's tough. So let me share some positive stats. LinkedIn, they do some really interesting surveys and data. I'll share this with you. If I, yeah. So this is the LinkedIn, this is a LinkedIn report. And so AI created a new wave of highly skilled jobs. So 1.3 million jobs created globally. This is one of LinkedIn's recent reports. This is jobs created between 2023 and 2025. And you can see some very new terminology, job titles: head of AI, AI engineering, AI forensic analyst, data annotator, forward deployed engineer. And even actually speaking to folks in Silicon Valley, loads of people are still hiring engineers and stuff, powered by Claude Code, OpenAI's Codex, things like that. So there's jobs out there. People I've spoken to in New York, they've said since January, have had way more calls. These are senior leaders, CHROs, heads of talent acquisition, functions that have been struggling and being cut. They've said they've had more phone calls since January about senior leadership roles than they have done last year. So there's positive shoots, springs in the air. I'm super positive, and I think just keep an eye on that. And then this is from the World Economic Forum report as well. This is 2025. So, but again, I mean, according to the World Economic Forum, so 92 million jobs eliminated by 2030, 170 million new roles will be created because of AI, resulting in a net gain of 78 million. So this is all positive stuff. And for me, I think it's important to think that through. It's very easy to get into like a negative thinking spiral, but I think there's a lot of stuff. Even like talking to my colleague this week, just when the internet came, again, all the jobs created from the internet, super hard to imagine at the time. So I think the stuff I'm seeing right now is we're losing jobs that could be automated, data stuff. There's a lot of stuff that AI is incredibly good at. And we're getting rid of these roles that's filling, sorting, and stuff. And we can focus more, I think, on the high value human work, whatever that human work is for your particular role. So for me, it's a reinvention. I think the workforce is going through a massive structural change. Not been through this since I can remember, maybe from the internet. But now this is incredible. So for me, I think this is one of the best times to be working. I mean, I just love going through these things. It's a fundamental shift. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity. There's an opportunity for people that want to adapt. And if you want to look for opportunity, it's there. Work's going to look very different for sure. You might be starting your own business, or you might be doing who knows what. So I think just, if you're in a role right now where you don't think it's going to exist, you're worried, all of that stuff, just take a moment, think through, what you can learn, what you can pivot to, where's the activity happening, go speak to people, do some stuff in your control. The future is not yet written, and I'm looking at it with an optimistic lens, and let's see how this materializes. So, thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found it useful. Please like and subscribe in all the usual places, and I will see you soon.